This is probably the weirdest way you could get a sound demo of this synth, and I apologize. Hello and welcome to Mothership Gear. I am the director and editor of this episode, and I am joined by Mo, the producer and cinematographer.
This is probably one of my favorite episodes. It is about two titans in the gear world. They come together and they talk about this Russian answer to a mini Moog called the Aelita. It's a synthesizer, and it's pretty crazy.
You know, the way we do Mothership Gear is like we're trying to show you the personality behind the people who own this gear collectors, touring musicians, studio musicians, artists, and it's kind of fun to curate gear by getting to know the type of people who might be selling it to you on Reverb. This is a show about friendship as much as it is about gear. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy it, and let's roll the episode.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Hit us.
Hit us with one more, please.
As the Doors once said, come on baby, light my synthesizer from Soviet Russia.
Hit us with one more, please.
Digitize.
As you could hear, you can dial an immaculate robot-like, bird-like Mothership Express. It's perfect. It's messy.
Hello and welcome to Mothership Gear. Today I'm joined by my good friend Jesus Salas of Jesus Vintage Gear. Keyboardist extraordinaire from Instagram, Los Angeles, Orange County, all over the world. And today he's brought with him a very rare and exciting piece of gear all the way from Soviet Russia, back from the 1980s, an Aelita 3 oscillator monophonic synthesizer.
The Soviets take on the Moog, the mini Moog of the times.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, they always wanted to do everything their way, and they definitely got down on this bad boy. Let me tell you that.
And how do you pronounce this keyboard's name?
I pronounce it Aelita.
Let's raise the morale of this synth by firing it up and letting us hear a little bit about it. This sounds like very usable keyboard sounds for any top 50 record.
Of course.
Can you play something a little stranger?
So it's got like 3 voices, 3 oscillators. So to my understanding, you could have and tailor 3 different voices. You could tune each of them differently.
Oh, wild. So it's like a tunable keyboard?
Yeah, it's tunable, it's tweakable in every sense of adding sustain, the brass filter attack, some click. You could add the vibrato, something like this. We're just gonna run, that's 3 voices at once, right?
Sounds wild.
But right here, let's just run one of them. You can leave it at the 32 foot, 16, 8, 4, 2. So you could, and then we've got this one in the middle, and then this one at the top. And then you could also control the volumes for each. Let's add something wacky, vibrato, or like it's written here, bispato, tremono.
Oh, nice. I wonder what that means.
And you could control the speeds.
That's cool. Like the changing of the speed reminds me of like an organ. Like organ players, when you're Leslie, you change like the speed of a Leslie, but
Kicking the Leslie chorale, and then the tremolo settings.
digitized. How'd you even find this keyboard? Like,
This was during the COVID years. Not BC.
you're going through some flashbacks of war. These were the COVID years, and then instant
like
silence.
thinking about Nam, but I wasn't alive at that time.
You were just trapped in your house with a quarantine
Yeah. Eating pizza.
and searching the internet for Soviet Russian synths.
I was on Reverb one day, and then I was like, these usually go for like a lot of money because they're the more sought after ones. Even if they're broken, they're kind of expensive. But this one popped up for about like $900, which is really cheap. Being that this one was fully working and it was recently serviced and stuff, which most of the stuff coming from over there is just like closet queens that are dusty, and it's like, hey, it powers on, makes some sounds. It's your problem. But this one wasn't my problem. It was my love and joy that I united with online.
What's like the retail price for this keyboard?
The retail price right now, it's a lot more. I'd say, I might be wrong, but I'd say it's around like for a working one like in this shape, maybe 1,700, 2K.
Nice.
At the time, it was around like maybe 1,400, 1,500. And I was looking to get this. I mean, look at this. Just
You don't need it.
it just like packs up like that.
Oh,
Boom.
for all your synth needs on the go,
Yeah.
get the Aelita 3VCO Monophonic.
I love things that have a cool look to them. I was looking for more foreign instruments that I love taking in things that I know nothing about. And this one was perfect because like everything's written in a different language. So me being the impatient kind of person, I didn't really want to take time to like look up and translate everything. I just like figuring everything out by ear, by feel.
That's kind of exciting. Like when you have a instrument that is not in your own language, it's all just creative flow.
Yeah, definitely.
There's nothing holding you back. If something were to say tremolo, and you're like, well, I don't want tremolo, but this saying tremolito, tremacno, you're just going for it. Could mean anything.
It's pure joy. You feel that? Listen to this in your nightmares.
Killer. So when you're looking for foreign instruments, are you usually looking on Reverb, or are there other sites that you go to find this kind of stuff?
Really hard to find stuff that's not Western.
Yeah.
But, because Western instruments have been distributed throughout several countries and stuff. And so when you've got like, I've been doing some research too lately, like this past year on I want to know more about instruments from maybe even electric stuff like from Africa or from Vietnam from like the 40s, the 60s, 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
And most of them, even in Mexico City, they had a bunch of like synthesizers. I think one of them straight up was called Mexico Synthesizer. And a lot of these offshoots of maybe their versions of popular stuff that was on records. A lot of this stuff wasn't mass produced. There wasn't funding. Fender, Moog, Gibson, was just taking over everything. So they were everywhere. So it's like, well, I could develop, the Mexico synthesizer.
Yeah.
But there's also like Juno, there's Roland, a bunch of stuff from Japan hit Mexico City and a bunch of Latin American countries, synthesizer wise, pedal wise. And so there have been a lot of cool things like this, but they didn't necessarily even develop in their own countries besides like the 1 or 2 years that they were made.
Yeah.
Maybe the company probably decided, I'm just gonna make lawnmowers, or I'm gonna make
Forget
pencil
making
sharpeners.
synthesizers. We're
Yeah.
going to lawnmowers.
Yeah. Or maybe something like a fancy suit. Fancy suits are nice.
True that.
But it's kind of like that company Ream that made a combo organ when there was like a big combo organ market. They're like an air conditioning company. And so
If at first you don't succeed with the synth or a combo organ, you make air conditioning or lawnmowers.
do it. Or yo-yos.
Very good. Well, if people want to find you and know more about vintage gear and your journeys, where are you located on the internet?
Just find me on Instagram and under Jesus_vintage_gear. Jesus Vintage Gear. JVG for short. But I do all kinds of primarily a collector. I also am a musician. I gig with all this stuff. Since I got a lot in my collection, I run a vintage and modern gear backline company and repair, source, buy, sell, trade, all these goodies.
He does it all. Excellent. Well, thanks for joining us today on Mothership Gear. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to see more fun videos about keyboards, pedals, guitars, basses, anything that you would consider gear.
Well, thank you guys for watching this episode. We are going to tell you a little bit about the day and reminisce, because this was a really fun day for us. Mo, you were wearing 2 hats that day. You were filming and you were making pizza. How does that work?
So there's actually 2 of me. So there's one of me behind the camera, and then there's one of me in the kitchen sweating above a huge pot of tomato sauce. So it's not anything fancy, just one gal doing one thing, another gal doing another. So that way we can all have mothership dinner after.
Yeah, mothership dinner has become more of a thing because, nowadays it feels like everyone has a podcast, and I am addicted to watching podcasts on YouTube. And so for me, there has to be something human connecting us all together in the Mothership family, right? So sometimes, I'm meeting people for the first time and I'm thinking like, how do I direct this? How do I edit this? How do we produce this? And so when you get to have dinner together, you get to talk about things that are not gear related. Sometimes you talk about the industry and you talk about all that. But like, for instance, with Jesus and Holly, who came over, we were talking about movies, and like we watched Anora because Holly referenced it, and she's like really up to date with movies. And as you saw on Mothership Gear, we like cinema, we like playing with these kind of editing tools. And so watching stuff like Anora, we talked about Mickey 17. It's another great film.
Film.
Yeah, I think musicians like food, they like comedy, and they like movies and TV shows. And so the dinner part of it is really important because it's how we gel and mesh. Mm-hmm. And then I feel more comfortable inviting people back once I know like their vibe. It's like, how much of a journey was it for them to do this episode? And if they have a great dinner, I think they're more than likely to do it again, because musicians also just love snacking.
Well, it's hard work talking about all that gear.
It really is.
People come from 2 to 3 hours away sometimes to get here.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're starving. Like,
right.
Getting here, setting up, filming the episodes, and then they're gonna have to eat somewhere anyways. So it's a great community builder.
The joy of doing Mothership Gear is doing it in person, being able to hear the amps, the drums, the microphones, whatever we're talking about. And then also just to like be in a tight space with someone eating food and like passing the snacks around and all that. So This episode is the one I'll remember from that day, most likely. I think this is the one that just is going to be connected to that day in the memory. So thank you again, Loren and Jesus, for having an awesome gear convo. And thank you guys for watching this weird experimental show. And I'm sure it's going to change and adapt week to week. But yeah, this one was a little bit of a fun trip in the editing room. And so hope you guys enjoyed it. And we will see you guys all next time. Later.